Most real estate agents think the hardest part about being on YouTube is having all of this elaborate gear that makes you look like a movie star or being amazing on camera and super extroverted, but it's not. So if you clam up every time someone says YouTube and tech in the same sentence, I got you. This is the exact system that I recommend to every agent that wants to make YouTube videos, but they're a little bit intimidated by all of the technology, all of the things that they think that they need. Spoiler alert, you don't need all of this stuff. Let's just dumb it down and make it as simple as possible so that you don't have any reason not to make videos, okay? I think the harder that we make this, the more likely it is nobody wants to do it. By the way, I will be giving a presentation on this exact topic at NAR Next. So if you are going to Houston in November, come and see me. I want to hang out with you because what I've learned over the years is that the longer you put off learning this technology, the harder it gets. And we don't have to make it as hard as you think it is. So here is my 6-part YouTube tech stack. Number 1, we need something to film with. You can film with your phone. It will be just fine. I like filming with the webcam on my computer, which is what I'm looking at right now, simply because if I film it on my phone, then I have to get it from my phone to my computer, either to edit it or to send it to an editor because the file size is really big. And so I can't email it to somebody if my editor is located somewhere else. So I like to just record with my webcam onto my computer. Saves me a step. It really does not matter. The quality of the cameras on our phones these days is amazing. They film in 4K. They look amazing. There's no reason to not use a phone if that's what you like best. Next, you need some simple editing software. And one that I really like is called Veed.io. I will leave a link down below. So if I wanted to record, here's what I would do. First, I would hit record in the corner there. And then, whoops, that's going a little fast for me. So I'm going to slow it down. And then I'm going to start over again. And here's what I would do. This is my teleprompter. I can put my whole script in here and it will scroll on the page. All I have to do is read it, and then we will fix my eyes so it looks like I'm looking at the camera instead of reading my script. So as I was filming all of that, you could see that I wasn't really looking at the camera lens. I was reading the script, right? So we wait for it to do its thing. I say add it to the project. But then the cool part is if I go into Magic Tools, there is eye contact and it will fix where my eyes were looking with AI. So if I find that if I'm really close to the camera lens, it looks a little bit wonky. But if I stand back a little bit farther, then when it fixes my eyes, it looks more realistic. It's really cool. If you can get the teleprompter script as close to the camera lens as possible. So put it way at the very top, like move your Chrome window as close to the webcam on your screen as possible. And then that way, when you're done with your recording, it's in the editing software. I am filming this with StreamYard, which does the same thing. I record it in StreamYard, and then when I'm done, I can go right into the editing. And I don't have a lot of editing that I need to do. I just remove the biggest mistakes and long pauses. And like I have lots of notes of what I want to talk about in this video. So I'll have to take a pause and refer to my notes and be like, okay, what was tip number 3? Oh yeah, that's right. And then I look back at the camera and I start speaking. I got to take out all of those pauses, but I don't think that you need to go overboard with the editing these days. Not only is it not necessary, but the audience doesn't seem to like it anymore. Another great editing app is called Descript, and you can record directly into the app, just like we did here. And it will give you your transcript on the left-hand side. So if you don't want to do editing by like putting your cursor on the timeline and hitting cut, and then putting your cursor and hitting cut and then grabbing the part in the middle and deleting it and having to close it all up, you literally go to the transcript, you highlight the sentence that you didn't want, and it edits the video for you. It's pretty awesome. There are a lot of different editing tools these days that have this kind of AI capability. Get one of these. It'll be so much faster if you are not the one doing all of the editing. AI is doing it for you. And if it would help you to have all of these resources in a single document, just download my essential gear checklist. I'll link it down below. It's the software, the hardware, the microphones, the lights, the cameras, like all of the stuff that I've used over the years. And I've got them all, organized by category. It puts everything in one place so you don't have to go hunting all over the internet. So if that would be helpful, grab the essential gear checklist. The third thing in my tech stack is an SEO keyword research tool. And if you know me, you know I love keywords everywhere. Why? Because it's easy, it's user-friendly, and it's dirt cheap. So here's what it is. If you go to the pricing tab and then you scroll down to the bottom and you say, check out our bronze plan, it's $2.25 a month. This will be perfectly adequate for 99% of people out there. It gives you 100,000 search credits. And then what it lets you do is you go to Google and you say, okay, I want to make a video for people that are thinking about looking for a 55 and over community in Dallas, Texas. They want to live in a 55 plus community, but they don't know which one is the best. So let's do some Googling as though I were that person. So let's say 55 plus communities, I can't spell, in Dallas, Texas. Here it is spelled the right way. So now what we see is this little box right here where it says volume is, God, I need my glasses. Sucks getting old, y'all. 90. Okay, 90 searches a month and the competition is 61. So in my opinion, this is not a good keyword because only 90 people are searching that phrase, but the competition is very high. This is on a scale of 1 to 100 and it gets a 61. So look who we're competing against. This is what shows up when I do that search on Google. 55 places, whatever that next one is. These are all sponsored posts. Then we have all of these things showing up. We have Del Webb, we have Realtor.com, more sponsored stuff. It would be hard for somebody to compete with something that gets that much competition. So then I would say, all right, well, how can I refine that? What if it was, I'm not looking for a retirement community because I'm afraid that might mean assisted living. What if I take out Texas? Does that make a change? No, it's still there. What about, age restricted communities in Dallas? I'm not sure what you call them in Dallas. That one gets 0. Okay, so what about where to retire in Dallas? What does that get? 0, really? Best places to retire in Texas. Now you see how that one is highlighted in green because I went into my keywords everywhere settings and I said, if it gets at least 1,000 searches a month and the competition is low, I consider that to be fair game. I want to make a video using that keyword. So highlight it in bright green. You can have it highlight in whatever color you want. I chose bright green. And so I know that that would be a good keyword. So I could make a video about a particular 55 plus community, or maybe even 3 or 4 or 5, but they're all in the Dallas area, right? Because that's the area that I serve. So we'll call it the 5 best places to retire in Texas. And I'm going to show these 5 different communities in the area that I service. And that way I know people are Googling this phrase. So when they do, my video can show up on the front page of Google. It'll show up in YouTube, but it will also show up on Google. And before you tell me my audience is seniors, are they going to watch YouTube videos? Yes, because they know how to do a Google search and they can click and watch a video. They might not have a channel and be uploading videos, but they know how to watch a channel. My dad is in his 80s. He watches YouTube videos all the time. Someone that is raising their hand and saying, I am interested in the topic you are talking about. And that's why they clicked. It's not interruption marketing. We're not trying to stop the scroll and trick them to get their eyeballs to watch our video for 3 seconds. They see your video because of the title. They like the thumbnail. They think it sounds interesting. They see in the bottom right-hand corner, it's 10 minutes long, and they still click. That means they were interested in your topic. Don't sleep on keyword research. It is the key to making videos that people actually want to watch. Step number 4 in the tech stack is something to make good looking thumbnails. I cannot overestimate the importance of a thumbnail that isn't hideously ugly. And listen, I've made a million of them in my 8 years on YouTube. think it's even more than that. It might be closer to 10. My videos had terrible thumbnails at the beginning. I have no graphic design experience. So I know how you feel. When I first started making them, they were terrible. But I learned some basic principles of design and I got better over time. But you know when my thumbnails really started to look good? When I stopped making them and I hired someone to make them for me. So if you are there, or even if you're not there, but you just think, I don't want to waste 5 hours of my time tearing my hair out to make thumbnails that are ugly. Let's find someone else to do it for us. You can find a virtual assistant. There are people all over X and Instagram. If you just Google or search on those platforms for YouTube thumbnail designer, you'll find a million of them. You can find people on Upwork and Fiverr, virtual assistants all over the world. Like you'll find people. If you have a local college that has a graphic design program, ask if you have a job board posting where you could just tack up a thing and say, I'm looking for someone to make YouTube thumbnails, and get like a college kid who would be thrilled to do it for $25 a pop. And then he can use it as experience on his college resume. So here are thumbnails that showed up on my homepage for my anonymous account that I use to do research about what do I think my people would be interested in watching. And I just look at the ones that show up in my own homepage and say, which ones grab my attention? So this one right here, this we turned a shady motel into 110 departments. Like that grabs my attention. Why? Because that text is big, it's bright, it's easy to read, and it doesn't repeat the title. It doesn't say, we turned a shady motel into 110 apartments. It says 110 units, 75% full, losing money. Yikes. And it grabs your attention. So I like to look at these and get inspired of which ones look good and which ones don't grab my attention. Which ones do I think like are not all that exciting? And I'll just scroll and try to see what's working now. The way I figure it is, let's see. I'm going to go see The Naked Gun tomorrow, by the way. Any other Gen Xers very excited that I watched the Happy Gilmore sequel last Friday, and now we're going to see The Naked Gun. I feel like I hit the jackpot these 2 weeks. But I would look at it and say, okay, how many views did it get? Now, this one is probably not the greatest example because it's from Paramount Pictures, who has a much larger YouTube channel than I do, but it's had 15 million views. I like to look at how many views did these get. Let's see. How about this one? Don't buy, build. Why I'm building properties, not buying. 145,000 views, and it's 5 months old. So clearly this title and this thumbnail are working, or it would not have that kind of views. It'd have 137 views. It wouldn't have 145,000 views. So how do we make those thumbnails? Canva. If you are much more design savvy, you could try Photoshop. I don't think it's necessary though. My designer uses Photoshop. I still stick with Canva when I have to make anything myself because I find that it's very user-friendly. And if you don't think that you can make a good-looking thumbnail in Canva, you absolutely can. Just don't use one of their templates. Those are not good. If you go to Canva and you say, show me the YouTube thumbnail templates, I don't recommend any of those. Start from scratch and try to make one that looks more like this, where we've got the really big text and it's bright and we have a simple background photo. It's not super busy back there. I see a house under construction and that's literally it. And then we see the arrow pointing at build and we see the person who made the video ostensibly. It's not overly designed. Anybody could make this in Canva. We just need to have an inspiration. Now we move on to software number 5, which is landing page software. I don't think that you need a full-blown website with IDX and blogging and all of that stuff unless you really, really want it. But let's face it, most people, they go to Zillow to search for homes. They don't need to go to our own website to search for homes. I have a site like that, but I blog and I write a lot of articles to go on there. And all of the leads I get from that website are not from the IDX search. They're from people that went to the blog or who went to landing pages and downloaded something of value, something like this. So this is a guide, 10 steps to maximize your profit when selling your home. So you make a video and you're talking about something to do with selling your home. Maybe it's curb appeal, maybe it's the market, what the market is doing, how long is it going to take? And then you say, by the way, I have a guide about how to maximize the amount of profit that you make when you sell. I'll leave the link down below. You should go get it. They come to this page and it says, don't leave money on the table. And it's got a little description of what this guide is. They fill out the form. Immediately, they either get the guide or they go to a page that says, thank you so much, go check your email. They check their email and there's the guide in their inbox. You get notified, hey, you have a new lead, somebody with an email and a phone number that you can follow up with. And all you have to do is call them and say, hey, I saw that you downloaded that guide. Are you thinking about selling your home? And if they found you from a YouTube video, you are in like Flynn. They will say something to the effect of, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm talking to you. I've watched all of your videos. I feel like I know you already. You're a celebrity. This is so cool. My husband's never going to believe I'm talking to you. I can't even tell you how many times in the last 7 or 8 years I have heard some variation of that statement. It will happen. If you are making YouTube videos or Instagram Reels or TikToks or anything that involves video, and they watch you over and over again, when they download this guide, this is what they say. So how did I make this? I made it in a program called Lead Pages. I'll leave that link down below as well. I love Lead Pages because you just go and say, I want to make a landing page. And it says, okay, great. What kind of a landing page do you want? And it's got a million different templates. You pick the one you like the best. If you say industry, we even have real estate as an industry. So now we can look at all of the landing pages that were designed with copy on it for the real estate industry. Here's one that looks really good. So you could say, I like this one. Let's use this template. And when you do that, you change this, you change this, you change this. You could change the background photo, but you don't have to. You can change what you ask for on this form. And then it's got a little bit about, get the best price for your home, the highest price, all you need. You have to do what will make you compliant with your local real estate board. But I think the simpler, the better. I want them to see everything on a single page before they have to scroll. I find it very effective. The more we put on the page, the more they start reading, the more opportunity they have to think, maybe I don't need this after all. Don't give them too much information and let them make that choice. Have them fill out that form. Because when they do, tip number 6 is you got to put them into your CRM. Now listen, if you don't have a CRM, it is 2025. What are you waiting for? I want to tell you a story. When I was in college, I was a sophomore back in 1989, I think it was. I had a professor who said, I will not accept any papers that you turn in on a typewriter. You must use a computer. And I did not want to use a computer. I didn't want to learn how to use it. They had those Mac SEs that were like little boxes, and you had to put a floppy disk in and it would spit it back out, and you put a different one in for the application. I mean, it took hours to use it and write my paper. But the professor said, I won't accept anything else. You're going to learn how to use a computer, whether you want to or not. And so I'm so glad that he made us do that. Even though I hated it and I resisted it like crazy at the time, look where we are now. If we did not know how to use computers, we'd be in a world of hurt. And when computers came on the scene and my mom was still working as a physical therapist, it was a huge challenge for her because she didn't know computers. So now she's working with physical therapists who are fresh out of college, who are totally tech savvy, and she can't figure out how to fill out the report of, I just saw patient so-and-so and here's what we did. And she would be stuck at work until 7 o'clock at night because she was filling out these reports on the computer for hours after everybody else had gone home because she didn't know how to use a computer. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. Stop waiting. So if you need a CRM, this one is one that I'm actually quite excited about because one of my coaching students made it, and her name is Lisa Alford. She is a real estate agent in Florida with a YouTube channel. And I was always preaching about landing pages and the CRM email follow-up sequence. And so she decided to make her own program. So Propel CRM is cool because it includes landing pages with the CRM. So you don't have to get a landing page software and a CRM. If you get something like Propel CRM, it has both in the same program. Now, it honestly does not matter what programs you use. Pretty much most CRMs that are built for real estate have the same general functionality, the same general fields. There are some that include a lot of AI and bots and automated follow-up that are you're paying through the nose for, quite frankly. I saw one at a show a couple of months ago, and I said, wow, this looks really good. How much is this? And it was $500 a month. I was like, holy cow, that is a lot. That's a lot. So if you don't need something that fancy, get something that fits your budget, that has the features that you need. But being able to create a landing page and create an automated follow-up campaign is the two big essentials. You need them. If you make a great YouTube video and you say, call me if I can help you, that's not a great way to collect leads, because people don't necessarily want to call you if they're not ready to talk to an agent yet. They won't just pick up the phone and call you if they're very, very early on in their research phase, but they will fill out these forms all day long. Somebody who is thinking about selling their home, but they haven't quite made the decision yet, like, should we do it? Do we want to start interviewing people? They will come to a page like this and fill this out all day, every day. They still give you their contact information. So when you call them, usually it's correct. If they found you from a YouTube video and you call them, most of the time the phone number is good, in my experience. And so it's hilarious that they don't want to call you, but they know that you're going to call them when they fill out this form. And that seems to be okay. It's okay if you call me. I just don't want to call you first. Now that your tech is in place, let me show you how I built my very first funnel with landing pages and the follow-up sequence without spending any money on ads and without having any tech team who did it for me. I did it all myself. And in this video right here, I tell you exactly how I did it so that you can do it too.